Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all had an incredible week. My name is Jordan Davidson, and this is another edition of Behind the Bench. If at any point this season the Mississauga Steelheads go down 3 goals in a game and come back and win that game, I will do the one chip challenge on a future episode of Behind the Bench. Follow along with these hashtags. Once they go down 3 goals, it is a one chip watch. Following a one chip watch, if they either take the lead in regulation or get the game to overtime, it is a one chip warning. We had our first one of those last week, and once the game is officially won, it is a one chip event. Once we hit the one chip event, you guys get to see me cry, suffer, all the fun stuff you've been waiting for all year. So stay tuned. Following a big statement win on Sunday, the new-look Mississauga Steelheads look to keep that momentum going with 3 games this week, a Friday home game against the Niagara IceDogs, a Sunday home game against the Barrie Colts, and then a Holiday Monday special, Martin Luther King Day in Erie against the Otters. I'm going to recap all 3 of those games. Let's get started. To kick things off, here is my pregame from Friday's game against Niagara. I remember with my dog, when the Steelheads played the IceDogs, I always used to joke that she was secretly cheering for the IceDogs. But now I have a cat, and cats and dogs are kind of rivals, so maybe she's on our side. Of course, cats also like to eat fish, so what do I know? Off to the rink soon. And here we are, looking a lot more like winter now, eh? Yep, the IceDogs are here. Let's walk around. Yeah, after a couple of weeks of unseasonable warmth, it looks like winter in Canada again. I actually remember a little kid asking me, asking his mom, I overheard it, but asking, "Mom, why is it Christmas again?" Niagara IceDogs, they're here. Whew, I needed snow dogs to get through that. But yeah, the former tenants of the building is here. Let's hope the current tenants in the building can come away with a win. I really can't stay, baby, it's cold outside, but the Steelheads play, baby, Well, why didn't you say so? Let's go. Yeah, that'd be the end of the song right there. Howdy, y'all. It's time to play See the Difference. Do you guys see the difference? Yep, look at that letter James Hardy is wearing. Pretty sweet, eh? Making his debut today. And these corporate jerseys that the IceDogs wear. But these guys, woo! Kai Schmidt's got a puck. And a lucky winner. There's our old buddy Zachary Lavoie. Do a little circle there. Come on. Score! Zachary Lavoie scores on the Niagara net. So that should count for us, right? Oh, if only. Smile, Voldy! Valdemar Hall here as well. Alessio Bellieri got the start in net for the Mississauga Steelheads. For the IceDogs, it was Owen Flores in net. Stevie Leskovar made his Steelheads debut after being acquired at the deadline, just a few minutes before the deadline, from the Peets. Also, James Hardy wore the C for the first time. James Hardy is going to be wearing the C at home games going forward. Charlie Callahan is going to be wearing it at road games, this following the trade of our captain, Ethan Del Mastro. So, all that stuff going on. The puck dropped, and we got underway. Early on, the Steelheads looked very much like the Steelheads of old. The shots were 15-6 in favor of the Steelheads in the first period. There was just 1 goal in the period, but it was a very historic one at long last. James Hardy notching career goal number 115 and career point number 208 in one fell swoop, breaking both records, Owen Tippett for goals and Michael McLeod for points. He breaks the ice in this game, in his first game officially as a captain. Luke Misa and Xander Vecchi get the assists, and 12:56 into the first period, it is 1-0 Steelheads. That would be all the scoring in the first period, but at the 16:32 mark, there would be a little bit of rough stuff. Kevin He laying a hard hit on Charlie Callahan, and he would be down on the ice for a few minutes. Porter Martone would respond to that and go after Kevin He, as would much of the Steelheads, which would cause a major pileup. It was kind of a funny visual, actually. You see this big pileup of everybody on the ice over here, and Charlie Callahan just lying down over here. It was a little scary for a minute, but then all of a sudden Charlie pops up and he joins the pile. So we went from kind of being concerned to laughing. So Charlie ended up being okay, although it looked scary for a minute. They gave Kevin Heath the 5-minute major for boarding and the game misconduct. Porter Martono's got a 2-minute roughing minor, so it would be 4-on-4 for a little bit, and then we'd get the power play for 3. So, yeah. So that was a little bit of entertainment in the first period. It would be 1-0 after 1. Second period, a lot more of the same. Shots were 16-7 for the Steelheads this time, so 31-13 was the 2-period total. A little bit more rough stuff. Finn Harding would get a high stick call. Evan Klein would respond to that and get a roughing call of his own. James Hardy would take a slash later, but none of those penalties ended up doing anything. It wasn't until the 1940 mark, just 20 seconds left in the second period, Angus McDonnell would tip a Charlie Callahan point shot for his second goal as a Steelhead in his second game as a Steelhead. Callahan the first assist, Justin Zodi with the second, and it would be 2-0 Steelheads after 2. Third period now, and a little interlude. Before I shoot my clips of the descriptions of the goals or whatever, I try to look for a video on the team's official Twitter, just to remind myself what the goal looked like. But I can't do that for this particular game because of the Twitter weirdness that's been going on since, someone took over. The IceDogs don't have a Twitter right now. Yeah, they've been deactivated. I guess there was some kind of verification misunderstanding, whatever, but right now the IceDogs don't have a Twitter, so there's no real quick way to look up video clips of the goals. So I'll just tell you that Andrew LeBlanc scored an unassisted goal at the 7:37 mark of the third period, and that made it 2-1 Steelheads. There was just one penalty taken in the third period. It was a trip by Casper Larson at the 15:48 mark of the third. The Steelheads almost got it all killed off, but with just 9 seconds left, the game was tied by Declan Waddick, scoring his 11th goal of the season at 17:39, assist to Juan Copeland and Jacob LeBlanc, not to be confused with Andrew LeBlanc, who scored the first goal. That would tie the game. It'd be 2-2 after 3, and we would head to sudden death overtime. And on a night where one co-captain starts it in a big way, how about the other co-captain ending it in a big way? Charlie Callahan swooping it in a minute and a second into the overtime period, burying it past Owen Flores for the overtime winner. Steelheads win it 3-2, give Xander Vecchia the lone assist on this one, and the Steelheads start off the week in a big way. 3-2 final over the IceDogs. Here are the 3 stars and the post-game. I also want to draw attention to Valdemar Hull, a former Steelhead, greeting everyone on the ice after the game. It was really nice to see. He was here for a very short time, only 7 games, before he lost his import spot when Casper Larson was reinstated to the team. He's a nice dude, and it kind of sucked that had to happen, but yeah, those are the breaks in the OHL sometimes. I met Zachary Lavoie and Valdemar Hull before the game. I knew Zach would recognize me because I've known him for a year, but Valdemar was on the team less than a month, and then he was gone, so I was really happy that he recognized me. So,
Chucky with the winner! Yeah. Hardy getting all the congrats. Baldy. The Swiss guy's hugging it out. The picture together, oh sweet. Bellieri and Hull. It's only fair this guy gets wet today. Yeah. Gonna get him, Jordan. So you're gonna let her do it?
the pen supposed to work?
It's a magic super pen.
Awesome, eh?
Apparently.
What do you hear?
Chucky. Hardy.
I'd say that you and
Me at forward?
yeah, you're good at forward.
Alright. Not like that.
Put Dylan goal, see what happens.
That'd be a good one.
See ya.
Doesn't mean you get all the advantages.
Hey, why can't we be friends? Hey.
Thank you.
See, buddy. Hey, buddy. That's it. Zilichki.
Yeah, I was right.
That's it.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah, I told you guys, and that's not Amy. That's not that's
You're the one who said it was
No. Oh.
Similar. We look similar.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tripped up.
Alright. Hey, Porter. Hey, buddy.
I can jump, guys.
Yeah.
Alright, I have no for you.
Oh.
Read it. Okay.
What's it say? Spill the beans, Xander.
Great, you are a great player. You will always be my favorite player.
Aww.
Good game, buddy.
Even Aiden's blushing.
I know. Yeah, I feel like you almost got it. I was like,
My sister. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Welcome, buddy.
Yeah.
Have a good night, eh?
Hey.
And awesome on our record.
Congrats, hearts. Yeah. Oh.
oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Look at that. I'm keeping that stuff.
Aw.
Thanks. That's awesome. See you guys. Have a great night.
Yeah. And Finn Harding's smile grew 3 sizes that day.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
You're Italian?
I appreciate that, when I like your comments, I'm a weird old person, I'm like, you actually take the time to respond back.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel playing
See you guys.
Matt.
Wait, I have no for you.
Oh.
Read it, please.
What's it say, Casper?
That game against the US. Did a great job. They're a good team.
Aw. Yeah. Now, what's it say in Danish?
Standing in the corner. Were you standing in the corner?
Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. See you guys.
Call me next week, okay?
I will.
You're my favorite new player.
Aw.
It's going to take a while to learn your names without the jerseys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome, buddy.
Picture night. All you guys. Thanks,
What's
buddy.
your name?
Justin.
Justin.
Oh. Yeah. Welcome, Jess. Another sweet win today in the overtime fashion. Got Barry on Sunday. I'm getting in the car now because it's cold, but I think we're back, guys. I think we're back. Until Sunday. So the Steelheads would move on to Sunday and another home game against the Barrie Colts. Remember, just 9 days previous, they had a home game against the Barrie Colts on January 6th. They won that game 5-1, despite not having most of the guys they traded or most of the guys they traded for. It was just Adam Zidlichki at that time who had a big game. But the Colts also didn't have Brant Clark, who was returning from the World Juniors and was returned to the Colts by the LA Kings. So Brant Clark would play the Steelheads the first time this season on Sunday. Here is my pregame from there. Hope you guys aren't too tired of this shot, but January is a very home-heavy month, and it's only half over. So, the Barrie Colts are in town again. Last week we beat them before we had most of our new additions, but they didn't have Brant Clark last time either, so we'll see what changes. Let's have a walk around. same bus that was here last week. I don't know if the regular Barrie Colts bus is getting fixed, but see some Barrie Colts hockey bags on the ground there. So, you know they're here. We got a game. Let's get her done. The NFL playoffs started this weekend. There were a couple good games on last night, including a big comeback by Jacksonville over the Chargers. My team is the Buffalo Bills. You know, the team that on TikTok the Steelheads said would win the Super Bowl, most of them. They play the Miami Dolphins this afternoon at the same time as this game. So I hope the Bills win. They should beat the Dolphins, I think. But if they don't, you know what I've said before about being at the rink being a cushion for that kind of thing. So go Bills, go Steelheads, go everyone. And another warm-up begins. This guy's on his own. Do you have a team? Okay, there we go. Barrie Colts in their on-fire jerseys. Please, sir. I need a puck to feed my starving family.
No, sir.
Yeah. Angus, have a heart. I mean, look at that face. I mean,
Come on.
maybe those funny-looking guys over there will give you one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Them in their fire jerseys. Yeah.
Great practice jerseys, but horrible actual jerseys.
Yeah. Jersey critic right here. Oh my God, Barrie Colts, who are you wearing? Try standing on your knees and going goo goo gaga.
I don't think you're getting any fun.
Yeah, they'll feel sorry for you. Close up a Schwinner here. All right. Knows the camera's on him. Feeling the pressure. All right. Kai Schwinn wins the Stanley Cup of puck stuff. Oh, hey now. Larson and Misa drop the gloves. New school day, a lot of cool stuff for kids. That is friend of the channel, Michael the goalie, who is the 7th skater today. A lot of fun. Michael, when you watch this again, hi. There's a few more skaters, but they don't matter. Alessio Bellieri will get another start for the Mississauga Steelheads. Ben West would be the starting goaltender for the Barrie Colts. The puck dropped, and we got underway on Sunday. It did not take long for Barrie to get on the board, just 1-0-1, the same time that it took Charlie to score in overtime in the last game, by the way. But it was Bo Jelsma opening the scoring for the Colts with an unassisted goal. It'd be 1-0 Barrie, just like that. Nonetheless, a very quick response by the Steelheads. Just 23 seconds later, a point shot by Chaz Sharp is redirected in front of the net by Mason Zabeski, who scores his 3rd goal of his rookie season. Zabeski with the goal give the assist to Chaz Sharp and Casper Larson with the other one, and it would be a 1-1 game, just like that. Still plenty of time to go. But Alessio Bellieri, his 4th straight start since returning from the World Juniors. I don't know if he was finally starting to feel it, get a little tired, I don't know. But he was not having his best game in this one. At just .252, he would give the lead back again, this time on a goal by Carter Lowe. Unassisted again by the Colts, and it would be 2-1. Adam Zidlichki would take the first penalty of the game, a tripping call at 3:56 of the game, and later at 5:16 was Zidlichki still in the box. Brant Clark would take a huge point shot, which would result in the 3rd Barrie Colts goal. Originally was thought to be Brant Clark's first goal of the season. Remember, before the World Juniors, he was spending the season with the Kings and the Ontario Reign. So he hasn't played for the Colts until he got back. But I'm rambling anyway. But it turned out that it was tipped by Jacob Frasca, so it has been changed since to Jacob Frasca's goal. It was announced as Brant Clark's goal, but Jacob Frasca got an assist to Brant Clark and Connor Punnett, and make it 3-1 for Barrie. 5:43 in the first now. There would be some pushing and shoving in the corner that looked pretty mutual to me. I thought maybe there'd be some offsetting penalties, but Kai Schwint came away with that with a double minor for roughing, and Barrie got nothing, so I don't know what was up with that. Ensuing face-off right after that, though, Jacob Frasca against Luke Misa. Frasca won the face-off, but it was stolen right away by James Hardy, who broke away. It was just him and Ben West, and James Hardy would bury it. An unassisted shorthanded goal by James Hardy would make it 3-2. But the Steelheads still had a double minor to deal with, and near the end of that double minor at the 8:46 mark, Brant Clark would take another point shot that was one of those annoying squibbers that Alessio Bellieri would stop most of, but it would just roll slowly through. tried to backhand it, but it went in. This would be Brant Clark's first goal of the season for the Barrie Colts. That would make it 4-2, give the assist to Evan Vierling and Bo Jelsma. This would also spell the end of the night for Alessio Bellieri. He faced 7 shots, only stopped 3 of them. Ryerson Leaders would play goal for the Steelheads for the rest of this one. So moving on to the second period now with the Steelheads down 4-2. Chaz Sharp would take a slashing call at the 1:18 mark of the second period. And just 20 seconds later at 1:38, Jacob Frasca would notch his second of the game to take advantage for the Barrie Colts. Assist on this one to Evan Vierling and Brant Clark. The power play goal would make it 5-2 Barrie. Steelheads are down 3, which means we are on a 1-chip watch. Shots, by the way, were even 10-10 in the first period. In the second period, they'd be 11-4 in favor of the Steelheads, but unfortunately, none of those 11 would beat the goalie, Ben West. It would be 5-2 Barrie after 2. Third period, though, would pretty much be the same story for the Steelheads. Chances, but no goals. When Callum Chisholm took a roughing penalty at the 15-20 mark, the Steelheads decided to pull Leaders early to try and get a 6-on-4. But it would backfire. Brant Clark would score the empty netter, his second of the game, which some people thought was his third of the game. Someone actually did throw a hat on the ice, but it was just a second. Bo Jelsma and Declan McDonald assisting on the empty netter, and it would be 6-2 Barrie. So it pretty much would be Barrie's game. We did get a little late game entertainment at 17:27 when Angus McDonnell and Artur Cholak decided to go at it. They would fight for a bit and they would sit for the rest of the game. It was a mutual fight, so no instigator, which is good for us because an instigator in the last 5 minutes carries a suspension. So thankfully we didn't get that. So a little late game fisticuffs to entertain us, but it would be a 6-2 Barrie Colts final. Here are the 3 stars and the postgame from the game against Barrie. The postgame is pretty short because the Steelheads left for Erie pretty much right afterwards. Also, remember that Brant Clark had 3 goals announced for him, but one was later given to Jacob Frasca. So if I do mention Brant Clark having a hat trick, it's because, shut up, that's why. Here we go.
Third star for Mississauga Steelheads, number 19, Mississauga.
All right.
Yeah, he had a hat trick.
The Steelheads are back home on Friday.
Well, there's Brant Clark. All right, gold medalist.
Yeah.
You're back with Jack again, eh?
Oh, yeah.
And Justin.
Yeah. Oh.
Gotta get this amazing content.
Peanut gallery in the back here.
Upstairs? Yeah, past the door.
No.
Go back to the main bowl and you'll be able to start.
Oh.
Thank you.
The door's open for the Zamboni, they can cut through, but you probably not too good with the gate, it's not padded.
Yeah.
No? You gotta come to farm.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
So the Steelheads would close out their week with a holiday Monday matinee on Martin Luther King Jr. Day in Erie, Pennsylvania against the Otters. I did not travel to this game because it is not a holiday in Canada, unfortunately, so I was not able to attend. So I don't have any video, so let's just get into the recap. Now, I was working during this game, but I was able to catch the first period of my lunch break and about half of the third period after I got home. This broadcast was special because for Martin Luther King Day, they brought in a black play-by-play man by the name of Trey Matthews, who I believe is a student at Arizona State. who's graduating this year, so hopefully after he graduates he's going to get a lot more gigs. Apparently he's the second ever black play-by-play man hired by the CHL, so I'm glad to see things progressing in that direction, and he did a good job. Ryerson Leaders would get the start for the Steelheads after playing great in relief the day before. Kyle Downey was the goalie for the Erie Otters. The puck would drop in Erie, and we would get underway. Shots were 10-5 in favor of the Erie Otters in the first period. There would be a lot of penalties in the first period. We'd actually be down 5-on-3 at one point. Lucas Ramirez took a hook at 4:18, and then James Hardy would shoot the puck out and get a delay game at 4:41. We would kill that off though. Then Erie would get a few, Sam Alfano for a hook and Spencer Silva for a cross-check. But all of those would be killed off. It would be scoreless after one. So scoreless for the first and scoreless for much of the second, but Erie would finally break the ice at 9:42 into the second period, with Bruce McDonald passing from behind the net, centering it to Teo Artichuk, who would bury it past Ryerson Leaders. Artichuk with the goal and McDonald with the assist, and it would be 1-0. 15:46 now into the second period, and some acrobatics from those same two guys, this time in reverse order. Teo Artichuk with a beautiful pass to Bruce McDonald, who would make it 2-0 Erie Otters. McDonald with the goal, Artichuk with the assist this time, and this time add a second assist to Owen Johnston. Make it 2-0 Erie Otters, and that is how it would be after two. There would be just two penalties taken in the third period, and both of them by the same player, Erie's Sam Alfano, a high stick and a slash respectively. The second one would result in the Steelheads' first goal, and who else? James Hardy with a beautiful left wing shot to beat Kyle Downey for the first time. Give the assist on this one to Xander Vecchia and Casper Larson. James Hardy with his 27th, extending that all-time record as well. Make it 2-1 for the Erie Otters. After trailing the shots for much of the game, the Steelheads led the shots 10-6 in the third period. The final game total was 26-21 for the Erie Otters. They got their chances. Ryerson Leaders was pulled with a minute left. I think they would have pulled them earlier, but there was too much time in their end. They tried to get the equalizer. They just couldn't. It would end as a 2-1 Erie victory. Again, I was not at this game, so the 3 stars are as follows. Kyle Downey with 20 saves was the 3rd star for the Erie Otters. And the top 2 might have been interchangeable. The 2nd star was named as Bruce McDonald with the goal and an assist. And also with the goal and an assist, the 1st star was Teo Artichuk. Now before I go, this is a story I've recorded for the channel before and I've had to cut it for time. A lot of my videos, especially when I've attend 3 games in a week, a lot of my videos end up being too long and I have to cut a lot of stuff for time. And this is one of those stories that I had to. But I've been looking for a time to tell this story again, and I think with the World Juniors done, maybe I have time this week. So I'm going to talk about the worst officiated Steelheads game I have ever attended. The date was February 3rd, 2018. The Steelheads were on their way to Hamilton. I believe it was the day before the Super Bowl. It's funny how irrelevant facts stay in my mind like that. But yeah, it happened to be a Steelheads fan bus day as well. So a bunch of Steelheads fans, including myself and Darius, who was the big Steelheads content creator at the time, were all on a bus together going to that game. 2018, by the way, was the year the Bulldogs won their first OHL championship. They were a very tough team that year. The Steelheads, I don't think they beat the Bulldogs all year. Despite having a lot of talent and having reached the finals the previous year, it was a frustrating year for the Steelheads. I think they finished 7th in the conference that year. So not their best season, and that might be a preface to the frustration they felt in this one. So the game starts pretty pedestrian. Hamilton makes it 1-0 on a goal by Matthew Strome of the famous Strome family. Then in the second period, Riley Stillman of the famous Stillman family makes it 2-0 Hamilton. Steelheads get one back early in the third on a goal by Michael McLeod of the famous McLeod family, if you will. So it's 2-1. Steelheads are within a goal, so we're pressing. We're trying to get the tying goal. And then the fun happens. I'm looking at the box score right now. There's a lot of Steelheads penalties near the end of the game, and I don't remember exactly when they started becoming controversial, but I see a hooking call on Isaac Walker at 14:58 of the third. I see an elbowing call on Michael McLeod at 17:04 of the third. Just a few minutes later, and I remember this one. It's a delay of game call against Ryan Wells. Now, a little bit of context. The delay of game is when you shoot the puck over the glass, but if you shoot it into a bench, it's okay. But in Hamilton, there's this little bit of space in between the benches where it's full glass, and Ryan Wells cleared it on top of that, apparently. He was called for delay of game, despite it being right between the benches. I don't know if that's the ground rule or whatever, but the Steelheads didn't like that. So I found my tweet from 5 years ago. It looks kind of consistent with the time. It was 9:18 p.m., so it might have been that point of the game. I'll show you my tweet. Why are OHL hockey referees allowed to tell players to shut the F up and go F themselves? That tweet got a lot of attention. Darius retweeted it. I wish I could see some of Darius' tweets from that night too, because he was very vocal on it as well. Unfortunately, Darius doesn't have the same Twitter account anymore, but yeah, Darius got into a big discussion, and so did I. Another tweet of mine I found from that night. It's not a team versus team issue. Team swears at another team's bench, whatever. A ref is not another team. He's supposed to be the impartial governor of the game. As such, certain behavior should be expected. Any fan would speak out if they saw it happen to their team. Yeah, and you can see Darius retweeted that. Again, I wish I could see Darius's tweets, and I can't find Darius's video either that he made after that game. I wish I could, if I find that, maybe I'll talk to Darius. If I find that, I'll link it in the description, but I don't know if I will. Amazingly, the worst call of the game was still to come after that. We're already shorthanded by 2 at this point. Nicholas Hague gets tripped. He falls on the puck, and the referee calls him for closing his hand on the puck, but somehow missed the trip. So Nick Hague, he skates toward the penalty box. He's waiting for the other guy to come, and the other guy doesn't come. And I remember Nicholas Hague just goes, "Way to go, buddy! Way to go!" And yeah, he throws Nicholas Hague. I guess Michael McLeod, who was still in the penalty box too, was chirping the ref as well, because Hague and McLeod both left the game at that point. Anyway, long story short, following all those penalties, we didn't get the tying goal. We lost the game 2-1. The fans were frustrated. The players were frustrated. And I mean, the bad calls were bad calls, and they were awful calls. But I mean, I was more upset about the way the referees talked to our players. Like, you can't just swear at our bench like that. It's not okay. You're supposed to be the ones in control. Like, if a player said the same thing to a referee, it would be a penalty. It might even be a misconduct. Like, you can't be like, "I'm calling a penalty on you for this, but now watch me do it." It riles me up thinking about it again. But yeah, that was a crazy game. In any case, the Mississauga Steelheads are back in action Thursday, January 19th, with a road game at the Niagara IceDogs in St. Catharines, followed by a couple of home games on the weekend, Friday, January 20th against the North Bay Battalion, and then Sunday, January 22nd against the same Niagara IceDogs. Again, I'll be at the home games this week. Again, St. Catharines is a little far to travel on a Thursday, so I won't be at the road game, but I will be at the 2 home games. I hope to see you guys there. In any case, I end by asking the OHL, please allow the fair use of your professional and amateur footage. Help the small media so they can help you. Until next time, you can find me behind the bench and only the bench. This is Jordan signing off. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.